said his name again, loud, to maybe snap him out of it. And then I felt my actual husband turn over in his sleep.
I dipped the wick into the fire and it immediately started burning. I smiled and looked around and then froze. And in the doorway, I saw a shadow moving into the living room. Looks fun, Mark replied. We were all 16 and so-called paranormal thrill seekers. Hey, 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 hey. We were the kind of kid. Welcome to episode 84 of
Ghost Hands.
Ghost Hands. I've been feeling very witchy recently. Not me feeling witchy. I'm just in a really witchy mood. Like I want to watch loads of witchy films. All based in Maine, New England.
Yeah, our fave.
Fall.
Our favy.
I really want to go to America in Halloween. Why aren't I going? Why haven't I got flights booked?
Because we have a Halloween show.
Oh, we do, yeah.
In
we
London.
do have a Halloween show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Halloween soiree.
It's going to be very bushy.
It's going to be...
That is a little Easter egg for you.
And I won't wax. That's why.
Yeah, because everyone's going to...
Do you know what? Mine's back again. I'm back. I need to go again. Fucking hell. It doesn't mess around, does it?
Tamita and Ballum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
she's good. She actually threaded my upper lip the other day.
She had me like a rotisserie chicken on that bed.
Yeah,
like,
she's really good.
Yeah, she was. Anyway, my mum told me not to talk about my body hair, so...
How shameful.
Well, I know. I'm being repressed, Terry.
Yeah.
Would you like to pick a tarot?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Because I believe we don't have any talking points.
Well,
so this is one for the people who are like, I fucking hate your intros. Just get on with it.
Ooh.
What is it?
Tell me.
I'm going to use Biddy Tarot. There are your ham hands again.
What is it? Page of Wands.
Oh my God.
He's really nice. Look.
Oh, we've had him so much.
Have we?
Yeah. He looks like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
He's got a lovely jaunty cap with a feather in it and he's looking at his stick.
Did you pick it up upright or reversed?
Upright, I think.
Okay. The page of Wands shows a young man holding a long staff in both hands as he looks inquisitively at the green leaves sprouting from the top. His tunic is emblazoned with salamanders, a mythical creature associated with fire and transformation. The page stands still with his staff firmly planted, blah, blah, blah. It represents potential growth.
Love that.
In the background, the landscape is barren.
What?
Implying that this page has the gift of being able to find growth and potential in the most unlikely places.
Oh my God, how nice.
He's so energised by his ideas that he can make anything happen. It isn't limited by his circumstances. How fab.
That's really nice for me, isn't it?
Yeah.
God.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Can you say what the book says? Because I know I hate the book, but now I've grown I've grown attached to the book.
Really?
Now. Yeah, it's so shit that I like to know.
I don't like this book at all. I don't understand what it says.
Does speak in riddles a bit.
This card is traditionally entitled The Page. But in some modern day... Oh, fuck off. This archetype is that of a unique individual and nonconformist, often something of a bohemian.
That's me. Look at me. Look how bohemian I look.
I didn't think you are.
I'm so bohemian, Hannah.
You
what
don't
are you
like
on about?
camping?
Yeah, I hate camping. It's full of hippies.
Except for the hippies that listen to this. Well, you're great. Perhaps a mischief maker, often an innovator or inventor. The energy represented by this card will only serve others until he or she figures out how to get others to serve him or her.
That sounds quite selfish. I like it.
Love it. Yeah, I'll be into that. Stunning. Have you got a story for me?
Yeah, I'm going to do part 2 of that weird tentacle monster shit.
Hit me.
So he saw Rachel at his door. He passed out and she's like, meet me at noon.
Yeah, noon.
Noon. I needed closure.
Yeah.
I needed closure. I'd spent so long slogging through life because of what might have happened that night. I needed to know. I followed the instructions on Rachel's note. Maybe I was being stupid. I didn't care. I was ready for this to end. The address she gave me was that of an older home across town. It wasn't run down or giving off any massive red flags, but it was, well, past its prime. I walked up the worn concrete steps. I knocked on the front door. My heart was beating painfully. My anxiety was at a peak. You off? Oh,
Right,
thanks for enjoying that story.
That's lovely. Thank you. I'll see you later.
What
then.
are you doing?
Get me drink out.
Also, I really want that bag.
It's nice, isn't it?
Do you get just tons of free shit off them?
I actually paid for this.
Oh, did you?
I did pay for this.
Oh, well done.
But it's nice. But yeah, I get
How much is it?
60 quid.
Yeah.
But you know what? Bigger than it looks.
Is that going to be your new bag?
What do you mean?
You know, like you associate someone with a bag. For you, I associate you with Joanne McNally's one.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna have to buy the gold one because I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, but is that going to be your new one?
No, I think the Joanne McNally one will still have to stay because of how big it is and how much shit I need to carry. I also, before we continue, I'm obviously flying on Thursday. I'm only allowed to take hand luggage. Can I take that in the Joanne McNally bag? Is that reasonable? Well, I'm going to take all my clothes and that, and then all my little bits of shit in the Joanne McNally, yeah.
Tricky, I don't know.
Because you can smush it down.
You can smush it down.
I might just do it.
I think.
And also, Joanne McNally's always saying how good it is on the aeroplane, and I'm sure she gets Aer Lingus a lot.
Yeah, I'd take
Ireland.
it, risk it. Ireland, potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I wasn't ready for this to end. I could happily live my life not knowing for sure. The door opened. Rachel stood there in sweatpants and a t-shirt. She looked disappointed to see me. You came. There was a slight tremble to her voice. You came.
Well, like you came to my house first, Rachel.
You fucking stuffed the note in. Her fists were clenched and she stood unnaturally stiff. Unsure of what to do, I just stood there, both of us looking at each other and neither speaking. She shuddered almost violently. It seemed to snap her out of her weird trance. She waved me forward before walking back inside. She left the door open. I wanted to close the door and go home, but I also wanted answers.
What a metaphor. What a metaphor.
Isn't it? One door opens and another shuts.
I want to... Jesus.
And Rachel didn't seem to be doing so well. She's not doing so great, is our Rachel.
I love that he's like, just in order to show that she's not doing well, she's wearing sweatpants.
I love sweatpants.
I get home, kecks off, sweatpants on.
Kecks.
Trousers. Outdoor trousers. Bra off.
Oh.
Jumper on.
Yeah. Honestly, for the last 9 days, because I've been so ill, that's all I've been in.
Yeah.
I cleaned my bedroom and bathroom last night. How good does that feel? If you haven't cleaned your fucking bedroom in a while, do it.
My mum takes a piss at me because my bedroom is the only place in the entire house that I actually clean. But I'm meticulous with it.
Very nice, isn't it?
I'm
what a lovely
always
feeling.
Like getting the Hoover on, getting that, getting the
Hoover
everything
on, dusted,
windows opened,
yeah,
like all the fresh air in.
Yeah,
I've put over like a little red scarf over my lamp, turn my lamp on, all my candles on.
Yeah, call your candles on. That's
I sorted out all my makeup and made that. My mum was like, it's like a showroom. I was
yeah, that's what we want.
I've got my little reading corner with all my books.
Yeah.
Love it. Everyone if anyone comes in, I absolutely hate it. I'm like, get out of my room.
Yeah.
No one.
I feel like I did go into your room. Maybe that's what you were feeling, but you never said. Okay. Yeah. Frustrated with myself, I followed her. None of the lights in the house were on. It was lit by some windows, but not very well. It had a dim atmosphere that put me off.
Also, have you got your own bathroom?
Up in the attic, yeah.
Fucking hell, that's posh, isn't it?
En suite, baby.
Wow.
Yeah. I cleaned the shit out of it.
Yeah, you must. Have you got a bath?
Yeah. Well, I haven't used it. It's not been used in years, actually, but I put some Viacal on it and really went for a scrub on it.
Oh, lovely.
So it's now I'm due a bath.
You have a bath later after your gig.
Yeah. Depending on how it goes.
Drown yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, not that anyone needs to worry, but has anyone seen the toaster?
It won't quite reach into the bath. Can we just get an extension cable, Mum? Thanks.
It's the hairdryer will do. Nothing to worry about.
Oh, God. I have the dread. The dread. Okay. It was a dim atmosphere. My hand instinctively dropped to my waist. I felt the unfamiliar handle hidden under my shirt.
What?
It brought me some relief to know I wasn't helpless. Oh, is it a fucking gun? He's come fucking...
He's weaponised.
Weaponised, yeah.
He's packin.
America.
I think they say.
He's packing.
He's packing.
It brought me some relief to know that I wasn't helpless.
What does that mean, big peen?
Big peen?
Yeah, when you say, oh, he's packing.
I don't know.
Does it mean that you've got a gun or you've got a big penis?
I thought it was ass.
Oh, big ass, big peen or big gun? We don't know.
Yeah, let us know.
Can someone please slide into our DMs? Slide into our Snapchat ideas.
That morning on my way to Rachel's, I made a pit stop at Walmart and bought the biggest cleaver I could find. Oh, so he's not gone gun, he's gone knife.
He's gone knife. Right.
Rachel was waiting in a bare room. She
I'd
stood
go
with
gun.
Yeah, to shoot at the
go gun.
tentacles.
Yeah.
Well, we know you'd go gun. You love a gun.
I'd shoot the tentacles. Oh, actually, maybe a cleaver would be good. Then you can take some home to make some calamari.
That's disgusting.
Why?
I'm not eating a monster's tentacle.
I would. Waste
You'd
not,
turn
want
into
not.
the monster.
Think about the environment, Susie.
I don't want to. Rachel was waiting in a bare room. She stood with her back to a hallway. There was no mistaking it. She was trembling to the point her knees were almost knocking together. I felt this. I've never thought that was a real thing.
No, it's always done in cartoons.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like,
I felt the surge of unholy energy swell up inside me, the tightening of my lower back, the lump in my throat. I hate suspense. Every speck of bravado fled my body. From the dark hallway behind Rachel emerged a single, thick, wet tentacle. I got a better look this time. The top of it was a dark green and the bottom a lighter green. It looked very similar to the skin of a crocodile. It's Joseph.
oh my God, yeah,
Imagine.
Lorena's back.
A tear slipped down Rachel's face. Her bottom lip quivered as the tentacle slowly wrapped itself around her neck. With a sudden yank, Rachel was ripped off her feet and into the dark hallway. I fumbled for the cleaver. I needed to go. I got the cleaver out just as a figure revealed itself. My body locked up. I didn't know his name, but I recognised this guy from around town. Welcome. You've been lost for a very long time. Come, return to your home. I focused on not wetting myself. One of the tentacles reached out for me. It wasn't moving very fast, but it was enough to break my stupor and spur me into action. Dropping down, I grabbed the cleaver. I felt the damn thing try to grab my shoulder. I swung everything I had, and the cleaver cut into the tentacle. It wasn't a deep cut, but the monster recoiled in shock. The man snarled, "You dare refuse our offering." The injured tentacle curled up against his body. The other three flailed wildly about the room. I tried to crawl away. The thing grabbed my leg. It squeezed so damn hard. I hacked at it, but it wouldn't let go. It flung me into the wall. My body ended up crashing all the way through it. This is a bit Stranger Things.
Yeah, it is.
I landed dazed in another room. Tentacles began ripping away dry wall and boards, enlarging the hole. I scrambled to my feet. My leg was bruised and didn't feel good, but I pressed on. I made it out the door before the thing got in. Doing my best to run, I finally made it to my car. The keys were missing. I had left them in the ignition just in case I had to make a quick getaway. I couldn't stay. That thing was coming. Getting out the car, I made my way down the street, turning down random alleys and hopped fences wherever I could. After a bit, I felt like I was somewhat safe. I hadn't seen anyone following me. It felt like I was going crazy. There was no way all that just happened. Those kids were at the party where all this started. Those kids that were at the party where all this started happening, they weren't missing. I looked them up before going to meet Rachel. They're all living normal lives. This had to be a mental breakdown. After walking for an hour, the pain in my leg convinced me to call an Uber home. I pulled out my phone and saw I had 10 missed calls from my brother. Panic swept through me. He left a voicemail. Shaking, I opened it. "Yo, pick up your damn phone. That girl is here again."
Oh no.
I called him back over and over, but it went straight to voicemail. Fuck me. Now what?
Oh God.
The end.
The end.
Could be a part 3, but we
Wow.
don't know.
What a cheeky ex.
Cheeky ass.
Cheeky ass ex.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Rachel's made it over to his brother's house to go and tentacleize him.
Oh, so she is a big octopus.
She is.
An
yes.
octopus. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Would you like another story?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a small one. Bernard Sloane had the perfect family.
Aw.
They were always there waiting for him when he finished work. Early evening at 7 o'clock, he put the lights out, locked the front door and went downstairs to the basement to spend the evening with his family. Because I believe his business is a top. That's where he works.
So his family live in the basement.
Yeah. His wife Jenny would be sitting on the couch knitting a sweater. His mother was always dozing in her easy chair. His son Ben and his daughter Emma were usually sitting at the table playing a board game. And little Luke lay on the floor playing with his toys while little Martha, the youngest, sat at the piano. Bernard would sit down in his big comfortable chair and chat with them until bedtime. He told them all about his day and who had died recently in town. He would repeat funny stories and jokes he heard and tell them his views and opinions on any subject that came to mind. They always listened and never contradicted him. When it was time to go to bed, Bernard would yawn and stretch his arms. He would go round giving them all a kiss on the cheek and saying, well, good night, everyone, pleasant dreams. Then he'd turn out the lights, climb the stairs, lock the door behind him, and when he went to bed.
Sounds normal.
Middleton was a town, and Bernard was the only undertaker in the area. His funeral parlour, that's why he's telling them who's died. His funeral parlour was also his home, and he got all the business there was. Although he didn't have any close friends, he was well known, respected, and above suspicion. Everything went like clockwork. People would...
He's nice
above
guy.
Suspicion.
Nice guy,
And
good face, and not...
do you know what?
Probably not a murderer.
Suspicious at all. He does nothing weird. Everything went like clockwork. People would bring their dead loved ones to him, and Bernard would embalm their bodies and prepare them for burial. The funeral was usually held in the local church and the dead buried in the local graveyard. One day, as Bernard was cleaning up the funeral parlour, a policeman came to the front door. Can I help you, officer? Bernard asked. I'm here about the Periwinkle child, the policeman said. Bernard had a puzzled frown on his face. The Periwinkle child? Well, I'll level with you, Mr. Sloane. The family had the body exhumed, and when they opened the coffin, they got quite a shock. There was nothing inside but a stack of old newspapers. Oh my God, said Bernard, how terrible. Now look, Mr. Sloane, the policeman said, theft of a dead body is a criminal offence. If you cooperate, we'll go easy on you. The family just want their daughter's remains so they can give her a proper burial. Bernard was highly offended. I've been in business in Middleton for 20 years, he said. Everybody knows me. How do you think that I could do such a thing? Then you won't mind if I search your house, the policeman said. Bernard's face suddenly turned pale. I certainly do mind. This is my home as well as my place of business, and I know my rights. I'm not going to have anybody snooping through my private property without a warrant.
Especially not my creepy basement where I keep my dead family.
I keep everyone. If that's the way you want to do it, that's fine by me, the policeman growled. I'll be back in an hour with a search warrant. In the meantime, I'll leave an officer outside to make sure you don't try to get rid of any evidence. Bernard watched as the policeman...
So all this... He was a lovely, upstanding man and above suspicion. Not really.
Not really, no. And there's nothing more suspicious than saying that someone's above suspicion. Bernard watched as the policeman turned and left. He shut the front door and stood there thinking for a few minutes. Then he went down the basement to see the family. He opened the curtains and let some light in. How can there be curtains in a basement?
Well, lower ground.
Oh. He opened the... Well, lower ground. And I went, yeah, fine.
Turnkey.
What does that mean? Lower ground, of course. Of course. His wife was still knitting, his mother was still dozing, Ben and Emma were still playing their board game, and Luke was still playing with his toys, and Martha was still at the piano. Somehow they all seemed a little withered, less like living people than like mummies. Only Martha, the new girl, looked as fresh as she had on the day she drowned. Bernard let out a deep sigh. He picked up a container of gasoline and began splashing it around the basement floor. He splashed it all over his wife, his mother, and each one of his children, then he kissed them all on the forehead and sat down in his chair. He loved them all so much and couldn't bear to see his family torn apart. He reached into his pocket and took out a box of matches. He selected one match, struck it, and the entire room burst into flames. Pleasant dreams, everybody! He screamed as the fire engulfed him. Pleasant dreams. The end. Pleasant dreams. Bye-bye.
Well, okay, Bernard. So Bernard has just burnt himself alive because he can't stand the idea of the policeman.
But don't forget, after all this, he's above
perfect.
Suspicion.
Yeah, he a lovely man and above suspicion.
And above suspicion.
Apart from to the police who think he's a massive murderer.
Exactly, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, he's not a murderer. He's not a murderer. He's a grave robber.
Yeah, but isn't that his
wife?
So
please don't.
No, because his wife...
Please don't tar Bernard with this brush.
And dead kids, you'd think...
No, he's nicked them.
Oh, he's called them his wife, mum and kids.
Yeah, they're not actually his. He's just like, he's got one.
Oh, he's just picked one.
Yeah, because he called Martha the new girl.
Oh.
So he's creating his own little...
Oh, so Bernard
So as soon as
Sloane...
an old withered bitch comes in, he's like, right, you're coming home with me, mother-in-law.
Oh, is it his mother-in-law?
Or something like that, or mum, whatever. I don't know.
Well, where's his real mum? I want to know.
Where's his real mum?
Yeah, and is it a lower ground? And what's the square footage?
How is there a window in a basement? Lower ground, of course. Quite right. That just shows the amount of shit that we talk. Do you have another story for me, please?
Oh, I do there, please.
Oh, great.
Yes. So, let's have a look now. Don't point out the reflections mistake. Oh. I've never liked mirrors. They've always given me a weird feeling, and I've always avoided them as much as I could.
I love them.
I used to hate mirrors. I couldn't look at them for 3 years when I was a kid because I was scared.
Oh, what you were going to see that isn't there.
Yeah, someone behind me. It's always given me the uncanny valley feeling, like it's not really me that I'm looking at. I've recently moved out of my parents' house and into a flat of my own. It's just me and my cat. Living alone has been interesting.
Overrated.
What?
Moving out your parents.
Yeah, don't do it.
My mum's going to be listening to this being like, fuck's sake, she's never going.
Never going to leave. I get scared a lot by the little things. A creak in the hallway can no longer be explained away as a sound my sister made coming back from the bathroom, or my dad having a cup of tea before going back to bed. But anyway, I've gotten off track. What I meant to say is that I get scared sometimes, partially because I live alone and I wanted to get over it, and because I'm sick of losing sleep over something childish. So I looked online and found that exposure can actually help in getting over a fear. Well, I can't expose myself to noises, but I thought that if I could start by easing one of my other fears, then I'd be less scared overall. I made myself slow down my morning and evening routine. I spent more time in front of a mirror. I acted as if my face had become the most interesting thing to look at, and it worked a little. I didn't lose my fear immediately, but I did stop rushing in the morning just to get out the bathroom. It went so well that I started to smile at myself in the mirror. I've always found smiling in the mirror the creepiest part. It just never felt real to me. Like there was someone or something on the other side mocking me, not really knowing what actual happiness feels like and just trying to copy it to the best of their ability. It feels fake. It doesn't look the same as it would in a photograph. So that's become my new routine. Me? Brushing my hair, brushing my hair, brushing my teeth, washing my face, and smiling at the mirror before leaving the bathroom and going about my day. It took a week of me doing this before I spotted something. The smile on my mirror dropped a little after I'd dropped mine. Just a fraction of a second later, but I could have sworn that I saw it. I freaked out internally, but I told myself it was just my imagination. So I shook my head and tried again. Everything was normal this time, not even a millisecond of delay, but the uneasy feeling didn't go away. I didn't immediately leave the bathroom. It might sound stupid, but I didn't want to tip the thing off that I'd seen anything wrong, so I went about my routine as normal. And I did the same thing before going to bed. This smile was normal as well, but I didn't sleep well that night. Nothing abnormal happened for 2 full days. 4 times of me looking in the mirror and nothing out of the ordinary happened, but on the 3rd day, something did. It was too fast this time. Its smile forming just a fraction of a second before mine did. Its dimples appearing just a smidge before mine would. I dropped my smile and it dropped its smile too. I kept looking at myself in the mirror, hoping to spot another imperfection, but I didn't find any. But I wasn't done yet. I was sure of it by then. I felt vindicated in a way. That feeling that I've had since I was a child was correct. There's something wrong with my reflection. I called a friend of mine that same afternoon. I'd already told him that I was going to try to get over my fear, but I hadn't told him about my progress. He didn't believe me. I told him to try and see for himself, start smiling at his own reflection and actually look at it. He laughed at me, but he told me that he'd humour me, seeing as it's something that would take him a few seconds every day. He laughed at me the first week, so much that I felt like an idiot. I started questioning what I'd seen, and by week 2, I was fully convinced that he was right to laugh at me. Your own mind can be the best gaslighter there is. I'd convinced myself that I didn't see anything. I started coming up with all kinds of excuses and convinced myself I must have gotten enough sleep beforehand, or must not have gotten enough sleep beforehand, and that I was just seeing things. Though I never managed to convince myself to smile at my reflection after it. I stopped any and all fear exposure. I don't smile in mirrors anymore and spent the least amount of time as humanly possible in my bathroom. My sleep schedule is horrible. I don't get a wink of sleep sometimes when it's windy outside, and the house makes creepy noises, but things had overall been getting better. That was until my friend Tim called me. Oh, Tim? We've had a Hannah, we've had a Tim, now we need a Susie story. That was until my friend Tim called me. He's seen it too. It wasn't his smile for him, but a movement. He moved his head to the left one time, but his reflection hesitated. It wasn't long, and you would never notice it if you weren't paying attention, but it was something. Tim can be a little arrogant at times. Wow. This is harsh, Tim. So while most people...
Oh my God.
Fuck. Tim can be a little arrogant at times, so while most people would doubt themselves or question if they really saw what they did, Tim decided to question his own reflection. What are you? He asked. It didn't answer. The reflection matched his every movement while asking it. What are you? He asked. A second time. And again, the reflection matched him, syllable by syllable, but it didn't answer. He didn't ask a third time, but he did try and get an answer out of it. He tried tapping the mirror, moving quickly to try and catch it in a mistake again. He tried closing one eye. Nothing weird happened. The mirror matched his every move. He became frustrated. So he did something that I cannot recommend anyone to do. He confronted it. You've made a mistake. You hesitated. I know what I saw, he told the reflection. The reflection didn't do anything drastic. It still moved in all the same ways Tim himself did while he told the mirror this. But the eyes changed. Tim told me they didn't look like his eyes. There was hatred in them. That's when he left his house. He came over to talk to me to tell me that I was right. He told me everything that happened. We were talking about what it could be and what to do about it when we heard the sound of glass shattering in my bathroom.
Oh, no.
It's been about 10 minutes since then. We've locked ourselves in my room. I could have sworn that I heard footsteps earlier, but I'm too afraid to ask Tim if he heard them too. I'm too scared to open my door, but I don't know what to do. I thought reaching out to people who have experience with the supernatural might be a good idea. I was hoping someone might have experienced something similar. We might be able to help. Any advice is welcome. We just want to survive.
Oh.
So
stay away from the mirrors, kids.
Yeah, do you know what? I really relate to that.
Well, I saw a ghost through a mirror, didn't I?
Yeah, they're portals apparently.
Yeah, well, they've got to be because they're a bit fucking odd. They're a bit
hard.
Weird. They're a bit odd.
Oh, odd.
They're a bit odd.
Yeah.
Something a bit weird about them. I also think that you probably shouldn't be able to see your own face.
I think the world would be a better place without mirrors.
Yeah. Make
Don't you
rooms
think?
look less big, though.
Huh? You what?
Make rooms look less big.
Yeah, but I just think they're the downfall of everything.
Oh, do you think? Like vanity?
Like constantly looking and checking and, you know?
Yeah.
What if we just only saw each other through other people's eyes?
Yes.
Amazing.
What? Okay. It says the two women, they're absolutely obsessed with the
Yeah, I love
their
the
own
mirror. I just
faces.
looked at myself there and I was like, wow, doing well. Really doing
I think a
well.
world would be a much better place,
You think?
actually.
Glowing.
Yeah.
Okay, story please.
Got a story for you. This is called The Midnight Game.
Does it happen at midnight?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it does.
And we're going to do it later today as well, but probably not at midnight because we're going to do, that's the game we're going to play. It's the game we're going to play. I've got the rules and everything. Okay. It seemed like a stupid game. One of those things that girls do during a sleepover, along the same lines of Bloody Mary or silly ghost stories. The Midnight Man, at least that's what I thought before we lit those candles that night, before we signed that paper and before we played the game. Hey man, you got anything to eat here? Josh asked, finishing up a bag of chips.
Chips.
Damn man, you just finished that bag of chips, relax, Mark said. I'm not going to carry on doing that. Mark said, laughing as he sat on the couch. Both of you, shut up, I yelled from behind the computer. I'm trying to read this. Both of them got up and walked over to see what it was. The midnight game? Josh asked. Sounds like one of those dares for little kids. Looks fun, Mark replied. We're all 16 and so-called paranormal thrill seekers. We were the kind of kids... We were the kind of kids that would sneak around old abandoned houses or graveyards, anything for a good rush.
Oh, I love that.
Of course, we never saw anything and just used the opportunity to scare the shit out of each other. So, this is our lives. We'd run out of places to go a few weeks back and hadn't done anything since, so we'd been looking for something just like this. It seemed perfect. Josh, your parents are going to be gone all weekend, right? I asked. Yeah, but we're not actually going to do this, are we? He asked skeptically. What's the matter, Josh? Afraid? Mark said, before breaking out into clucking mockingly.
Chicken.
Oh, hungry. Shut up, man, he replied, punching Mark in his arm. So, are we game for this? I asked. Both gave no objections. Perfect. Friday night. We'll play the game at midnight. Yes. Josh lived out in the woods a few miles outside of town. His family lived in a rather large wooden cabin, easily bigger than mine or Mark's houses, and perfect for playing such a game. We pulled up about 6 that evening. We had to pick up Josh and go and get the supplies. At the store, we picked up the salt, lighters and candles. We decided that each of us would carry a different coloured candle. I picked up a dark blue one, Mark picked up a pink one. Here you go, Josh, he said, handing him the candle. I'm going to kick the shit out of you, he replied, instead picking up a red one. Why? Confused. Mark put his back and picked up a green one. We also grabbed some food and left. Back at the house, we all sat on the couch watching some old horror movie we'd seen before. I wasn't paying attention. Instead, I was just thinking about ways to scare my friends. Judging from the looks on their faces, they were also planning what to do during the evening. I looked out the window. I looked out the window and there was a dark overcast. The sun was setting and its last streaks of light were reaching across the November sky, making it look as if the heavens were on fire.
Oh, very nice.
The news said it was supposed to rain rather hard that night, but none of us minded. To be honest, we were totally thrilled by it. The wind and lightning outside would surely give more atmosphere to the night and our game. A little past 11 came the first crack of thunder from the storm. We all decided that it was time to start getting ready for the game. We went through the house, turning off the lights. We all came back to the hallway by the front door. We've all got the lights, I asked, getting a nod from both. I got down on one knee and pulled out a piece of paper. I wrote my name down. Nathan P. Butthole.
Nathan Butthole.
Nathan P. Butthole.
Butthole.
Butthole. Yeah. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, lower ground.
Lower ground, of course. I handed it to Mark, who did the same, and passed it to Josh. I reached down into my pocket and grabbed my pocket knife. Quickly, I slashed a small cut into my thumb. Yes, this is what we're doing later. Josh put the paper onto the floor and held my hand above the paper, letting a single drop of blood fall onto the paper. Josh and Mark followed my example. I reached over, hit the light switch, the darkness blanketing us. I placed the paper in front of the door, placed all our candles on top of it, took my lighter and lit the blue candle. Mark took his and lit the green candle, and finally Josh lit his. I could see in the dim light that his hand was shaking. We all stood up and decided that we would all knock in unison, 22 times. Knock, 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 blah, 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 blah. The sound echoing in the empty house. Finally, we beat our knuckles on the wood for the 22nd time. I would like to say that in this, though, it's described as a 22nd. The air grew cold in the house. We turned to each other, frozen in place. Mark finally grasped the doorknob and opened it. We each grabbed our candle and at the same time blew it out. A flash of light and a loud crack echoed as the fire was put out. I crept into the kitchen, the light from the candle dancing against the walls. The air in the house grew cold. We turned to each other, frozen in place. Mark finally grasped at the doorknob and opened it. We each grabbed our candle and at the same time blew it out. A flash of light and a loud crack echoed as the fire was put out. I pushed the door closed and we lit our candles again. We took a final look at each other and went our own way. I crept into the kitchen, the light from the candle dancing against the walls. There was silence aside from the rain hitting the roof of the house. I made my way across the room and put my back to the wall. I heard a door open above and guessed one of them had decided to hide in a room upstairs. I hate that so much, that gives me the fucking fear. I sat there listening, waiting. The air in the house was thick and cold, a result of the rain, I thought. Then as I sat there, a cold breath hit the back of my neck and my candle was extinguished. I laughed. Relight within 10 seconds, I said as I grabbed my lighter and summoned a flame. I dipped the wick into the fire and it immediately started burning. I smiled and looked around and then froze, and in the doorway I saw a shadow moving into the living room. Josh? Mark? I said softly, but no reply. I decided I should move, thinking one of them was planning something. I made my way into the living room and sat in the corner between the couch and the love seat. I could hear something crash upstairs and it made me jump. I guess Mark scared Josh, I thought to myself. Josh was not the bravest among us, and Mark seemed to take pleasure in picking on him. Nathan, I heard. I quickly turned towards the voice and saw Josh creeping into the room. Wait, I said. You didn't scare Mark. No, you did, didn't you? He returned and I denied it. Suddenly I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I quickly made my way to the stairs and up to the room. The door was wide open. I made my way in and looked around. On the floor, I found a broken green candle, but Mark was nowhere to be found. I picked up the candle and went back downstairs. Josh, I found Mark's candle. Dude, I hear him say.
What?
Dude. I quickly turned around and I couldn't see the doorway in the dim fire, but something was there and it was watching us. Then a sudden flash of lightning lit up the room and I saw it. There was something there. It was tall, having to lean over to fit in the room, and thin, unnaturally thin. The light soon left, taking with it the fire from both of our candles. I quickly took my lighter and relit it. Josh had more trouble with his. I watched as each spark lit up the darkness for a split second. Hang on. Josh had more trouble with his. I watched as each spark lit up the darkness for a split second. I could hear Josh quietly speaking to himself as he tried. 5, 6, 7. I think you have to light your candle within 10 seconds or you die.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, his lighter sparked a flame and he quickly lit his candle. We both froze in place. For how long, I have no idea. Did you see him? Josh asked. I saw him, I replied, shaking with fear. We need to leave. No, we can't, I said. I don't think he'll let us leave. Well, I think we have to keep playing. We need to split up. No way, he said. If we stay together, he'll find us for sure. Oh, no way, he said. If we stay together, he'll find us for sure, I muttered. He didn't say anything, but I knew he agreed with me. I decided to go back upstairs to his parents' room. I hid between the bed and the wall. I sat down and held my candle in front of me. I sat and rested for a while, listening and waiting. Suddenly, I heard the doorknob begin to twist and I turned. I looked up and saw the door crack open. Suddenly, the light of my candle was extinguished. Fuck, I muttered to myself as I grabbed my lighter. 1, 2, 3, click, click, nothing. 4, 5, 6, please, come on. 7, 8, 9, and finally fire. I quickly introduced the fire to the wick and the candle caught. Made it, I exclaimed, letting out a sigh of relief. It became easier to breathe and I could feel the darkness retreating. I looked over to the door and saw the figure in the hall walking away from the room. So there's a man, there's a ghost following them around in the dark, ready to take them. Gross.
That's vile.
I sat back against the wall. I made it, I said again, under my breath. I stopped and listened as I heard the grandfather clock downstairs chime. Clang, clang, clang. 3 o'clock, only 33 more minutes, I said, reassuring myself I can do this. Then I heard it, another scream in the darkness. Josh, I said to myself, jumping up and running downstairs. I got downstairs and I could hear crying coming from the basement. I'd never been into the basement before, but that didn't matter now. I threw open the basement door and slowly made my way down. The crying was louder downstairs and I slowly made my way around. I reached the corner and found Josh. Josh, you okay? I asked, bringing my candle between us. His face was red and his head was shaking. I leaned over and shook him. He snapped back and he looked at me. Nathan, run. I heard a crash behind me and I turned around and there in the stairway he stood. I barely had time to reach before he came over to me. I couldn't make out his features, but I saw his hand. His fingers were long and thin. I saw it had 5 joints. His nails were black and sharpened into claws. I stood in silence and shock as he grabbed my candle and knocked it out of my hand. You can't do that, I stammered. I felt his hand twist on my shoulder. 1, 2, 3, I heard him say, his voice deep and echoed in my head, making my very soul throbbing pain. 4, 5, 6. I heard thunder off in the distance. Suddenly I grabbed Mark's candle out of my pocket. It was broken but still had a wick. I felt time slow down as I grabbed my lighter and prayed it would light. I felt the darkness again wrapping itself around me. I began feeling lightheaded and dizzy. 7, 8, 9. I quickly lit the candle and it held to him. Not tonight, I said smugly. He let go of me and reached again to knock out the light, but he stopped, looked at me and walked away. I was confused, but I looked down at my watch. 3:33. We did it, I exclaimed. Yeah, Josh returned. We both jumped up and hugged each other and then realised what we were doing and stopped. We made our way upstairs and turned on all the lights in the house. We both fell down onto the couch. We were both dead on our feet and needed to relax. We fell asleep as soon as we sat down. I woke up to the sound of the clock striking... I woke up to the sound of cock. I woke up to the
worst sound in the world.
To the sound of the clock striking 9. I woke Josh up. Dude, wake up. He jumped, not realising where he was. Please tell me that was all a nightmare, he said. I looked around, hoping I could say the same thing, and I saw it. Next to me on the couch, I found a piece of paper we all signed. Mark's name had been crossed off, and the place where his blood drop was had been burned. We couldn't find Mark. We looked all around the house and in the woods for any sign of him, but nothing. We finally decided to call the police. We did and explained everything. We told them about the game, the night, and him. They took us in for questioning. They called our parents. Mark's dad came in and begged us to tell them where his son was, but we told him what happened and he didn't believe us. He knew we wouldn't do anything to hurt his son. The police never found any sign of Mark, and after a few months of searching, they gave up. Me and Josh are still good friends. We hang out and chill, but we don't do the paranormal thrill-seeking anymore, and we never spoke of that night again. And then there is so we are going to do a little of the midnight game in a minute.
And evoke the
And that
skinwalker.
will explain, because obviously it didn't explain about the knocking and the time 3:33, but I believe that we will. Find that
Well,
out.
actually, when we go camping, we should do it.
Oh my God, we'll definitely
At
do it when we go
midnight,
camping.
yeah.
Yes, we will definitely do
Because
that.
we're not going to sleep, are we?
No. No, we're
Amazing.
definitely not. Gorge.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Are you ready for a
Creep of the week.
Creep of the week? Creep of the week. Creep of the week. Okay. This is from JC.
JC.
Oh, hey, JC. Okay. Actually, this is kind of following on. You know, I did that story, My Wife's Outside.
Oh, yes.
And it's the real one outside, the real one inside. And I think it's spurned a lot of like doppelganger stories. Do you know what's really weird? Is that there are so many of people being like, and then I called out to my mum, but she didn't say anything. And then my mum came home late. And you're like, that
was like my dad.
Yeah.
When I saw him in the mirror.
But honestly, it happens a lot. And I don't know what it is. Is it like a time glitch? Because there's so many stories like that.
Gross.
And it's like, is that even ghostly, or is that some scientific, like the timeline?
A glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. I've just remembered.
What?
It's a game I want to play.
Well, yeah, we can do that if you want. We'll do the midnight game in Devon.
Okay.
Dorset,
well,
wherever
I'll do
we're
it after this.
Going.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay. This is from JC. Hello.
Why is she now Irish? Hello.
Hello, lovies. I have a disturbing experience to share regarding a doppelganger mimic. My husband and I purchased an older home a few years ago. This home had been rented out for several years, so there's no telling who lived there or what they did while renting. The house was in need of some TLC, but my husband and I were not without talents and we enjoy a bit of a challenge. At first, everything seemed normal in the house, aside from sometimes feeling like I was being watched. Not much really happened for a few months. I've always been sensitive to spirits and they never really upset me or frightened me, so I didn't think much of it. I didn't, that is, until I started to wake up routinely at 3 a.m. every night. I should mention that I was about 7 or 8 months pregnant at this time, so I initially brushed it off as my body being uncomfortable. That theory didn't explain the fleeting dark shapes around our bed, however. Sometimes there would only be one entity, sometimes two, standing at the end of our bed, or hovering over me or my husband. They were dense and blacker than black. These brought instant fear. I could see them upon waking, but as my eyes focused more intently on them, they'd disappear. So I told myself I imagined them and I tried to get back to sleep. Fast forward a week or so later. Earlier in the day, my son had been playing a game on his tablet in my closet while I sorted and hung clothes. He left it there and wandered off at some point and I forgot all about it. Well, 3 a.m. rolls round and I wake up, as usual. I see the same dark shape, just standing inside our walk-in closet. Just as I sat up, squinting at the open door, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? A notification suddenly popped up on the tablet screen, illuminating the closet. Relief flooded through me. It wasn't a spirit. It was my husband. He was stood there, staring at the bed. I asked him, "Babe, what are you doing?" No response. I said his name. Nothing. He just stared at me. I thought maybe he was sleepwalking. He's never done it before, but there's always a chance, right? I said his name again, loud, to maybe snap him out of it. And then I felt my actual husband turn over in his sleep. Beside me in the bed. Horrified, I looked down at my real husband for a brief moment and then back at the closet door, which was now empty. Things escalated after that, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, that was horrible.
Imagine just your husband staring. You'd be like, "What are you doing?"
No. And
Come
then
back
you
to
feel
bed.
it and you're like, ah! Gross.
Thanks, JC. Also,
Thank you, JC.
You said that things escalated. You can't leave us hanging.
No, we need to know.
Obviously,
please.
Immediately tell us.
So, what's your game?
Well, Hannah.
And what we'll do is we'll go to Dorset. We'll do the midnight game because I think it is a bit complicated, and then we'll come back and do it again for you here.
I want you on your phone to go on a website called Twin Strangers, and we're going to find your doppelganger.
Oh.
Twinstrangers.net.
Find like a haunted website.
Find your lookalike from anywhere in the world. This is like
this is going to be offensive, isn't it?
This is an actual thing, right? This is like, we're going to find you. So you need to take a photo, upload it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to find your doppelganger in the world. There's going to be another Hannah. And honestly, like, this journalist was like tasked with doing this, and she was like, it's really scary to do it because
you'll find
apparently if you meet your doppelganger, it portends death.
Can I use that one?
No, you have to do one now. Here.
No.
Selfie. It has to be clear, Hannah. You can't piss about.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Do a really clear selfie.
Oh, I look like shit though.
You don't.
I do. I haven't got any makeup on.
There you go. Now upload it and find your doppelganger. Anyone can do this. Go on twinstrangers.net. It's really, really creepy.
I need to set an account up.
Oh, fuck's sake. Now.
Okay, well, listen, here's the thing.
Well, because this is a podcast, we're not going to be able to see the results for people listening. No. Know that that's what our haunted game is, and we're going to post this on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll post it.
We'll post it.
Unless it's incredibly offensive, and then I'm not going to fucking post it. You'll know that if nothing comes up on Instagram, it's because they gave me a picture of a pig. Thank you so much. We've had a lovely time.
Bye, everybody. We'll
see you next time.
I'll be really healthy next time. Okay,
bye.